What's funny is in the DMs behind the scenes, they'll write you and they'll be like, thanks for this or not thanks for that. Or some people will hate you for it. And some people are like, I don't care at all. Some of these Natty or Nots I've done on people like Cali Muscle and, different guys, and they just they hate me. Chef Rush, he didn't like me so much.
Oh yeah,
if I saw these guys, would they be like, yo, I hate you? Or would they be like, cool? Like, who knows? I don't know.
I think people are a lot more angry on the internet than they are in real life. Like, I've only had one. I won't name names because it's not fair, but there was one guy who used to just rinse me in the rest. It was a wrestling guy. He used to just rinse me, and then I bumped into him when I was over in America years ago for a wrestling show, and he was the nicest guy ever. I was like, dude. And then I watched his show the next week, rinsing me again. I was just like, so ridiculous. But I thought to myself, good for him. If that's getting him some kind of traction, I will take that as a massive compliment. I never understood why people got mad at you for the Natty or Not videos, though, because I mean, all you're saying is, I mean, it doesn't make it. I suppose maybe they get inundated with comments, but they must get that anyway, because a lot of the guys that you do it on are huge. And, the common practice is you see a huge guy and you go, that guy's on steroids. So just because somebody else pops up and goes, yeah, he's probably on steroids, I can't imagine that they get any more, social media engagement than they did already. But yeah, you do see some, well, it goes two ways. Some people take it as a massive compliment and they're like, oh man, that was awesome, because it's nice to, be involved. And then other people just absolutely melt down as humans.
Yeah, I mean, I think some people they don't want anyone to comment on it. Just like, don't ask, don't tell. And so they're worried it's going to hurt their business, when in reality, it usually helps people. Like when I do a Natty or Not someone, whether it's Natty or not, those people usually get more views and more followers. And it's just my opinion. Like, how do I know? I'm not their doctor. I don't actually know if they're natural or not. I didn't speculate. So that's all. I'm just calling people out. But what's funny is in the DMs behind the scenes, they'll write you and they'll be like, thanks for this or not thanks for that. Or some people will hate you for it. And some people are like, I don't care at all. Like Mike O'Hearn doesn't care at all. And I pick on him a lot in videos, but he doesn't care. But other people, oh my God, it's like their life ended because I talked about them.
Yeah, it doesn't make a difference anyway, because no matter what you say, somebody goes, no, he's wrong. So, like you did that time you did one on me. Thank you very much, by the way. That was a great day for me. Really appreciate it. The reason I found out you were doing it is because somebody had tweeted me and gone, Miller, I still think Greg is wrong. And I was like, what does that mean? Like, it took me about 5 minutes before I was like, I still think, because I didn't think of you at first. I was like, Greg?
Why would they say
no,
this?
Yeah, no, Doucette. And then I saw the video. I was like, oh my gosh. I replied, I said, are you responding to it? He goes, yep. I was like, that is unreal. It's just absolutely unreal. But again, it's people have already made their minds up, right? And I think it's almost like when somebody watches a review on YouTube. They watch it. More people are likely to watch it after it's a movie, right? They're more likely to watch that movie review after they've watched it because they want somebody to agree with them. And they want somebody to say, oh, that's the best movie I've ever seen, or that was the worst movie I've ever seen. And then it kind of makes them go, oh, sweet, I found someone I got common ground with. So if you have seen a Mike O'Hearn or whoever, and you're like, oh man, that guy's got to be juiced to the gills. And then somebody who is in super duper shape goes, oh yeah, they're like, yes, but then you get the other way as well. Look, there's no point. I love Natty or Not videos. So there's no point in me criticizing them. That's the reason I found you. I think that's how I got into Derek at first as well, through a random one that he'd done. They're just fun and they're just silly in a good way, right? It's just, here's my opinion on somebody's physique in the same way that you would do that for any kind of entertainment medium, I suppose. But I suppose it's cool that people take your opinion as read. Like if you say it, that's it. It's 100% correct.
Yeah, and it's funny because I actually would say that I actually say people are natural quite often. I just don't pick out everybody. So, and the best videos really are the ones that are the most controversial. If I say, hey, I think that the Mr. Olympia champion is not natural. Ronnie Coleman probably took something. Jay Cutler probably. Is that interesting? But when I take Chris Bumstead's photo at 18 or 7, and I say that guy was natural here and not natural there, and people are like, oh, well, how? That's controversial. And so people like talking about that. And they're like, Greg, you're an idiot. But then someone like Philion, who 95% of the time just takes the biggest guy that's obviously jacked and says they're on something. Well, It's very easy to make a video saying what everyone else thinks. It's a lot harder for me to pick someone that looks crazy good and to say, I actually think that guy's natural. That's the controversial video. And so then I get told, you're an idiot, you got this one wrong. And it's like, maybe I did, but some people are in fact freaks. And if you take the best bodybuilders in the world, like Ian Valère, name any guy in the Mr. Olympia, make them natural. They're all whooping my ass. I could take Test and Trend for 6 years straight, take those guys in the top 10 Mr. Olympia, make them natural. They're still making me look pathetic. And it's just the way it is. Their genetics are just that much better. So when you say this guy looks natural, well, if they have the best genetics in the world, they can actually do it.
That's it, right? It's like, I don't know why bodybuilding doesn't get more credit for the sport that it is. Like, I get that asked all the time. Do you think it's a sport? I'm like, absolutely. Because, let's take football or soccer over here. People are getting picked up at like 5, 6 years old to go to academies because they show a natural ability for playing football. No one's taught them anything. They are just born into this world. And for one reason or not, they are bestowed the power of football skills, onto them. And that's the same with bodybuilding. It's all genetic. We're going back to genetics, but these people have been born onto this earth and they just have these superior genetics that if they train right and do this and do that and all the things you have to do, can rise to the top of their field and win medals and trophies and get a bunch of cash. But I don't know. I guess it's because it's still somewhat of a niche. I mean, it's nowhere near as much as a niche as it was. But again, over here, the Mr. Olympia, unless you're into bodybuilding, nobody's talking about it. It's just me and a bunch of my mates. I would love it if Mr. Olympia was sort of broadcast at prime time on a Saturday night or something. I'd be well into that. I don't know what sort of the general public would think about it, but I find it crazy. I mean, exactly what you just said. These are specimens who are now taking themselves to their genetic limit, which just happens to be so far above everybody else's, and yet that's not a sporting endeavor. It really bothers me. I find it crazy.
Oh, absolutely. Just to show you just how much genetics is. The Kylie Jenner, the transgendered, he won the Olympics in 74, 76, I forget what year. I was watching a documentary on this. Well, he's now female. He was a male. He was not even an athlete. He didn't know he was good at sports, nothing. And he was in grade 5 and they had some kind of a race at school and he won the entire school. And they're like, you can run like that? And then from there on, it's like, you're on the track team, you're on this team. Then he got into the decathlon and he's like, okay, I guess I'll do this, and showed up and broke records and was in the Olympics after like a couple years training. And then the next Olympics won the gold medal. And it's like genetics. I could train my ass off and I'm not running the 100 meters in under 11 seconds. And I'm certainly not high jumping 7 feet tall. It's genetics. And people they forget that no matter how hard you work, you need to be born with that natural ability to just be amazing. All these superstar athletes that they're so genetically blessed, the LeBron Jameses and so on. Oh, yeah. It's just shocking how much talent they actually have.
Oh, totally. Like, I remember it was years and years ago, but there was a kid in my school who had been picked up by, or at least was being offered, I'd come to these big football clubs, and he was in a different year. He was quite a few years below us, and we were all playing football at lunchtime, whatever it was, and we were sort of passing the ball around, and somebody kicked it to him. And again, he was probably like, we must have been 13, 14. He's like 10, 9, whatever it was. And he just trapped the ball. He just pinpointed past it back. And I think all of us looked at each other like, no, I don't want to play football anymore. Because it's just there. It was just an inner thing that person had. And we all accept that when it comes to sports. But when it comes to bodybuilding or lifting weights, we all have to, oh no, it's this, and oh no, it's that. It's like, it's not. People are just lucky. Like, I would like, if someone knocked on my door right now and said, Simon, we're going to change your genetics, I'd be like, man, I'm leveling up. I will change my genetics now, but you just can't. So that's when the goal has to become, what can I do with what I've got? Because if you get down to sort of anyone, it's hard, but anyone can get down to 6-7% body fat with the right training, the right coaching. If you're walking around at 6-7% body fat, even if your sort of muscle mass isn't that much, people are going to look at you like, man, that's shredded. Like that's a shredded guy. And it's just when you start, contemplating everything else where I want to get sort of super duper muscles as well. It's like, well, don't even worry about that. Figure out where your limit is. And if you really want to have that turn your head in an airport kind of physique, just get mega ripped. I mean, I've never seen, it's like, is it Tristan Lee? Is that his name?
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's not the biggest guy in the world, but he's so ripped. Well, I'm just like, how is this even possible? It's incredible. Like, it's absolutely incredible.
And for the most part, most people could everyone can get as lean as Tristan Lee. Not everyone can maintain it because they would just have no energy and feel like shit, including me.